Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Lighting Critique and Lighting Challenge announcement. One thing I'm mildly excited about, I just found out. I was looking at the YouTube channel when I was uploading the latest video, and today is the 350th daily lighting critique video that I've made, and I don't know. I'm proud of that. I think it's more than I thought. I didn't realize how many of these I'd done, but 350 is a lot of them. You guys have heard me talk for a real long time. And I appreciate you guys being here for that. So we'll keep going with these. Okay. So
we should have a celebration and champagne and something.
Well, in like 6 months, I was thinking once I get to 500, that'll be a good one. 500 will be a good moment to pause and like really. 350 just seemed like an arbitrary number that I just happened to run into because it was at 349 yesterday.
I mean, if it was home runs, you'd be in the Hall of Fame.
I would have an argument. I would definitely have an argument. Yeah, that's how I like to think about it. Okay, so we're going to go through three things today. First up, we're going to talk about our latest lighting challenge. I'll go through each of the submissions and nominate a winner. And then additionally, I want to go through, there was this scene from Stephanie. I'll explain this a little more. We had some specific issues that we had to work out. We only had the comp to work with, so I wanted to show her some techniques in Nuke here, so stick around for that. And then we'll do the daily critiques day, which I think mostly is just Andre today, but we will do that as well. Okay, but up first we have our 3.5 submissions. So just a heads up, this is Sarah Vanan's, and this one is this one was submitted a day late, so it is not eligible for the win, but I said to go ahead and throw it up and we'll still talk about it. So I'll go ahead and so I will kind of let you guys look through these. Let me start at the top again. So this is Jesse, this is Kat, this is Nathania, and this is Sarah Van. So I'll start talking about Kat's. So Kat, I think you did a really beautiful job with this. I think this is my favorite image that you've ever produced. We sent out an email about it. We were hyping it up. For the challenge of the library, I think because it's so focused on the woman and the library plays such a small role in it, I don't think we could go with this as the winner for the library challenge because it's like the library is so secondary in the scene.
I figured. I just wanted to throw it up there anyway.
No, it's great. It was fun. And the reason why I say that was like I saw it get posted and I was like, oh, she may have posted this the wrong thing, and then I was like, oh, that's right, that is the library back there. So it's all good. So I was like, okay, that might not be. All right. Yeah, it's a gray area at best. So, okay. But in terms of the image, overall, I think it's really great. I think, yeah, we've gone through this a whole bunch of times. I think you're in a really great spot. I think, again, this is the best thing that you've created. Just not for this challenge. It just didn't work. But
no worries.
No, but you're all good. You're all good. Okay. So I'll talk about Sarah Vanan's because I think this is really beautiful. If this was this would definitely be in the running if this was submitted on time, but it's a good lesson of working in this industry of deadlines and how it doesn't matter how good and again, this is just totally arbitrary because these are arbitrary deadlines for this, but it's a thing. If you don't deliver something on time, you may not get a chance to show it. So but overall, this is a really beautiful image. I think the softness of it is really something special. Looking at the image as a whole, it's really soft, and like I love just more important, like more specifically like the area down here. I think the carpeting looks really nice. I think everything is looking really, really good. The couple of things that I think that could have been improved upon is, number one, outside this window, I think you got to go something at least this bright, right? Because we're seeing like the sky, and if the sun and everything's producing light that's bright enough to hit here, we want that to be pretty much white out there at this point because we're exposed for this interior space. I think that we could even amp up how much the light falls off going across the room. Like we have light entering here and going across. I can see a really subtle fade off of value as we go across, but I think we can turn that up a little bit, and I think we can get like darker on pretty much everywhere left of here. We can go a little bit darker. But like you have a lot of really subtle shaping on like every object, you kind of look around the room, get some nice subtlety in the shaping and stuff. I also think that if you ran some ambient occlusion on, and then got a little bit darker in the back of the bookcases too, I think that would add a little bit of depth there. And then the other big challenge with this one is just the amount of noise that's still in it, like up around this candle especially, but you can definitely still see it in the sides here. So before you finalize this, just make sure you really in your very last render, make sure you turn up the render settings. But overall, I think this is looking really great. Also, the greens on these leaves up here are a little bit strong. I would just pull back the saturation a touch on that as well. So that leaves Nathania and Jesse, and these are two very, very different styles. And with this one, I am. So these are our two finalists. I'm going to go with Nathania as our winner of this lighting challenge. I think this is a very, very cool style. I think it was pushing the envelope a little bit on stylization of what we have, and that is very cool. So if anyone who could unmute, I think we can applaud for Nathania here.
Yay!
Yay!
Looks cool.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's a good style.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique style. The biggest thing that I would encourage you to continue with is what you've already started, and that is just finding some more opportunities for some more dark values in some of like these corners, like down here, kind of up above this line. I think we can bring the audience's eye into like this band of the image at least, and probably a little bit over here too, and really just kind of focus this in by pushing some more darker values into the corners and stuff. But I love the little story that you're trying to tell. Like you can see from the other ones that there was an opportunity for a suit of shining armor over here, and like we were joking about because this tells a story a little bit. Like we've got the swords over here and the knight in shining armor here. Did the knight get up? And is it like a ghost? Is this just somebody's fancy house, and when nobody's watching, do they put on the suit of armor to read their book or their magazine at night? There's a lot of storytelling here, and just like getting the focus over here, I think was very funny, and I think you did a really great job with that. So other than just adding some dark values in, and it looks like you're getting some more specular values in there, which is really cool. Just pushing it another step further. So really, really, really great job, Nathania. Jesse. So this one is a great start as well. I think this is very, very cool. I think some of the like the fire element looks really nice. That's integrated really well. In the same way, there are some, like the first thing that I think of when I look at this is that everything feels very matte and very like we could use a lot more specularity in some of these values, especially in like, you get like you get like gold on the edges of the books. You get like some specularity going up these walls. You get some metal objects, like some of these like metal hooks we'll pick up a little bit more. There's something, and this rug is a tough one, but there's something that almost looks like pixelated, and it might just be because I don't know if it's just like bump or displacement, but the long threaded nature of it makes it feel like, it feels like it's almost flat when it's supposed to be standing up a little bit more. It's a really, really tricky one. Also, I think that we should tone back the saturation on the light coming in through the window, only because it's kind of pulling us back from like, it's really cool when you have like one color that's nice and saturated. Like if the blue coming in this window was like as it was, I would say let's like desaturate some of the fire and some of the other stuff. But we have like three areas that are coming in that are looking pretty saturated. Like there's the warmth of the flame, which looks great. The light coming in through the window, which looks cool, and then this kind of like bluish green of the glowing element on the mantle here. And I think that they're kind of working against each other, because now we're just kind of like, now it's just everything's just saturated in our eyes, kind of like, is it this, is this, like trying to find the thing that we're supposed to be looking at. So I think it's a matter of each component individually is really good, but together they fight each other too much. So I think it's about centering the focus on things. If we want this to be the center of focus, I think that's really cool. I would tone this down, coming out of the window. I would tone down the fireplace a little bit more and really kind of zero us in on that. If it's more about the ambience of the room, I would consider maybe even turning off the glowing bit. But like I said, I'm not quite sure what the focus and what the story is that we're trying to tell here. Really small note is the lens flare from the little ding from the candle there. I think that looks almost like it's like a specular highlight off of the hood of a car. I think it needs to be more of like a subtle kind of glow around it as opposed to a starred kind of lens flare thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it also, if it was a lens flare, it would be right on the flame and not exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good point too. It would be up here and not down there. All right, cool. So let's. So once again, congratulations, Nathania. Very, very good work. Now I want to hop over and shout at me if you guys can't see my screen when I move over here.
One quick thing.
Oh yeah, of course, Andre.
Yeah, on the bottom one, the one that was late for the submission.
Yeah.
You were talking about storyline and stuff. I kept thinking, like, is the child underneath the fallen shelf?
Oh no, I didn't think about that at all.
There's a child in there, and there's a fallen shelf. It's like,
oh no.
I hope the child's not underneath there. But
I think it fell and it scared the child, and the child respectfully ran away to find an adult to help with the situation.
I like that story better.
I like my story better because I don't like where yours is going.
Yeah, I like yours better too.
But that's a very very good point. I didn't read into that too much. But yeah, you're absolutely right. That is a very very cool element to this. All right, cool. Good stuff, guys. All right, so let's talk about Stephanie's for a second. So here's what we got. Here's the situation that we're in. We have this as her last submission, and backstory again to fill anyone in that's new to this. So Stephanie ran into an issue where she had to reinstall her Maya. She had her old files saved to the project folders of Maya, which got hosed. And so basically she lost this entire Maya file when she updated her version. Which means that all the notes that we need to hit need to be done in the comp with the current renders that she has. She has 3 renders. She has this specular one, she has this volumetric ray one, and then she has like her main elements here. And she was able to get this image out of it, which is really great. The two notes that I gave her that she said that were difficult, and obviously they are, is like getting more value out of the eye and trying to get a little bit of warmth inside the mouth. And again, if this is your base render, there's not much seemingly to go on. But I took this image and I was able to pull, I think some good qualities out of it. Now, one thing I want to say, and again, we're not breaking this down too much because I know you were just like, you had the rug pulled out from under you midway through your process. But one thing you always want to be careful of is rendering. You always want to render your volumetric light separate from the character, just because what happens is it kind of washes out some values, and you want to be able to maintain your core, like your character by itself. Because again, like we're getting some like sharp shadows on the edge here. Again, not a criticism of, because you've been able to work with those a little bit and get them to work out. But I think, it would have saved just some headache, I think, if you could have avoided that. Okay. So that in mind, we wanted to do 2 things. 1, we wanted to isolate the interior of the mouth, and 2, we wanted to isolate the eyes. I wanted to start with the eyes first. So the first thing that I wanted to do was I grabbed a crypto mat, and I was like, oh, cool. The eyes are separate. We can grab those separately. But the problem kind of is when you go to pick this, you can see what happens. It grabs the entirety of the character, and that's because the character actually covers the eyeballs, and then there's some transparency there in the model. So what I did was I grabbed those areas, and then I used and you can see here in the alpha. The second I looked at the alpha channel, I saw that their eyes are slightly different than the body, I was like, all right, we're in. We can use a Luma key to really kind of mine into that little bit of different. Like you can see what the Luma key looks like over here to the right. It's just like a really minor difference. Like I can pull this out, so you can just like you start raising this up until you get to the eyes, and then you're like, yes, okay, cool. We're able to isolate the eyes. It's a little bit of a janky edge. We'll get to that in just a second. And then what we're able to do is use that as an ability to just kind of grab the edge of the eyes. And like I said, there's that janky edge, so we're just going to chew it in just a little bit until we get just the eyes themselves. What this grade node is I just took this and just to see a little better, I just cranked it up. And then I grabbed this as well. Okay, so for the edge, in order to deal with the edge of this, I grabbed an edge detect, which will, in the alpha channel, we'll just grab this, and I just added a 4-pixel blur on top of that. So it just kind of blurs out the edges a little bit. I'll just show you what that looks like on top. And I just kind of pasted that over top of the original render. And then from there, I just adjusted the hue a little bit, and I pulled back on the saturation just to kind of get that into place. Just so you have a little bit of flexibility there. So you go from this to this. And you can obviously keep them on the yellow if you want. You can really do whatever you want. I just wanted to show that you have some flexibility there. And then on top of that, I went ahead and added I grabbed this color, which is just like a kind of a sampling of different colors around the scene. I drew 2 teeny tiny little roto shapes to kind of make some eye dings. Let me just put these back on there. And I just added some little bits of eye dings on both eyes there. So you can kind of see that a little bit. So that wasn't using the base render, just something I wanted to add in. And then additionally, and this one's a little bit more subtle, but it's a, and I'll just show you what I did here. It's just adding a little bit of warmth to the interior of the mouth to make it seem like there's light passing through, so we don't quite get those cooler colors in there. So I did that by grabbing the original image. I was just playing with the exposure here. I grabbed a real rough roto of the mouth itself. I graded it to make it warmer. I adjusted the color a little bit more in the black point in there as well. And then what I did was and I'll just show you how I did this. Make another one of these. You can make a roto paint, and when you do make a roto paint, you just have like one noodle here at the top. You can plug that into your main image, so that's being plugged into this. And then what you can do is you can grab this one off to the left, and you can see the second that you do, it becomes BG1. And so actually what you're doing is you're combining these 2 images together, which allows you to do something called a reveal, which is basically like painting away the top layer, what's in BG, and revealing what's in BG1. So if I go like this, you can start to see that warmer mouth starts to become apparent. And so now I can just kind of paint in here. And this works really well for still. It's a little more of a pain for animated images because you got to go frame by frame. But like something like this, so that you can get a little bit of that warmer value in the mouth there. So just something I did there to add that in. And that's pretty much it. And I can save this out for you, Stephanie, so you can kind of take a look at this yourself. But I always say that there's a million ways to do anything, and those are my like favorite ways to add a little like as long as there's some value, as long as you have an EXR rendered, as long as there's not like jet black values and white and pure white values that there are no variation, you can generally pull out the values out of them. The one thing that concerned me was, again, I was looking at the interior of this mouth, and I usually check this by sliding the exposure up and down. And like looking for dark values, like it lifts a little bit in there, but like it's still very, very dark in there. But that was the only part. Like everything, like literally everything else in the image has some value to it. So you're like, oh, cool. I can pull and alter and twist and turn. Like something like, do you see in the upper left-hand corner here, the way that gets like super crunchy? Like that's the stuff you don't want. And there's a few others around there. Or is that just schmutz on my screen? That might just be stuff on my screen. No, I think it's actually in the render. Okay, cool. Great. Do you guys have any questions about that before I move on to the rest of the critiques for today?
I have a question. Do you have or have you ever done any videos on like all these AOVs that you guys normally use to put together the comp in Nuke, for example? Because I haven't delved into that yet.
Yeah.
You know, everything that I've done so far was like one layer or maybe two, and it was just layers. It wasn't AOVs, and I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah, we don't have anything. I mean, we have if you look in the lighting and animated film class, I do piece together different render layers. The Arnold class, we talk about breaking out AOVs, but I don't really put them together in Nuke. But we are developing a specific Nuke class with Michael Callahan. He got pulled into something else for a little while, but he's back at it again. And that is taking this will hopefully solve some other issues too, because we're taking the Sir Desmus Rotundus asset and bring it into the Kit Bash 3D scene. We're having a lighter from DreamWorks named Rex. He lit it, and he's passing off to Callahan with all the layers and everything, and then Callahan's taking it into Nuke and taking it from like start to finish. So that should there's plenty of AOV stuff in there, and we should have a full workflow on some of that stuff there.
Is there any like timeline when maybe that would be available?
I wish I could tell you more. We're just kind of getting back into it now. I don't want to tell you something and make it wrong, but I should have more information on it in the next couple weeks. And once we do, I'll let you know.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Andre. So we've got. I want to start with this one. So we've got two animations. Actually, we might start with the other one, but I just want to show this animation first, and then we'll talk. Actually, let's talk about your fight scene. So this was the previous version, and the big changes with this one was with the update is you did depth of field adjustments. Is that true?
Yeah, depth of field and motion blur.
Got it. Okay, so that's.
And I don't remember if there was any other.
I'm sure I said some more stuff. Let's see. Take a look at this one more time. All right. So the depth of field feels a little bit intense at the beginning. Like I could believe it's that high because we're pretty close to her here. But at the front here, is that motion blur that's making him all? Yeah, that foreground character might be in a little bit too much motion blur. I just pull that back.
Okay.
And then, yeah, okay. The biggest thing I would say from a lighting standpoint is, so I'm looking around the space, and there are mostly light values, right? There's like a couple corners where like the pipes and stuff go dark, but these two characters who are covered in reflectivity are reflecting a lot of very dark values. Like I see like this coming down her, and if I go back for some frames, like all of like there's a lot of darkness on them, especially this guy, and it makes them feel darker for the space considering that there's so much light around them. So I think I think we do need to find some more reflections, especially into his back, as that one hits the ground, and then. Yeah, and then in some of her as well. It's okay for there to be some because you want some variation, but I think the ratio of dark to light is a little bit too. It's like favoring too much darkness in their reflective bits.
Okay.
I think that was the big one. Let's see.
Oh, I remember now. You talked about fixing the top of her head.
Yeah.
The skin. I'll do that.
Yeah. And then like this pose, it's tough because she I want the lighting to be more dramatic on her here because this is her like this is a make or break moment in the shot where she's been kind of knocked down and she's like taking a breath before she bounces back up into it, and this is her like strength gathering. This basically I would love to see more of an emphasis probably on the underlight here and maybe a little bit toned down of the over, just to like give her a little more shaping in there.
Okay.
If that's possible. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
let's step over to the other one. So you made sure to mention that this is just some loose reference for this.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is the guy that did the animation is basically he's trying to put together something that will look like a music video.
Yeah.
So he basically did the animation based on the scene,
Okay.
but we don't necessarily need to be exactly the same
Okay.
as that.
Okay. I think the biggest thing. So it's fun. It's first off, it's a lot of fun. The thing. Let me just look like this. So it's tough to tell because it's like a motion blurred shot. But one of the biggest things about it is like, in my head, and you can talk to the animator about this as well. But in my head, this feels like a performance on a stage within a church, right? Like this is somebody who's performing, with the choir. Basically what I'm saying is I'm wondering if we can't put more emphasis on the idea of it being like a spotlighted stage here in the middle, and really allowing the areas around it to go darker, because you can see it here. Like we get some super darks in here, some dark values over here. I think we can really, I think we can push that with just like think about this person performing in this stage center and allowing everything else to just kind of recede back into the background, right?
Okay.
And I think that would be the best way to do this, and then and then we can really play off of that. And again, with any dark scene characters, we've talked. I think I lit this particular rig guy. You have to watch out. His skin tends to go like cool purples. Just make sure you're keeping the warmth in there and the specular highlights and stuff while keeping the darker values. Watch out for his shoe color feels very dark. Because like everything about him feels like it's pretty. He's getting a lot of light, but just watch out for the shoes.
The thing is, he has somebody that's going to do the whole clothing on him.
Okay.
So I'm not messing up with that yet.
Okay. Then we
Not
can.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I think because the background, like looking at the walls, the cross, all the stuff back here, it feels it's like pretty simple geometry back there, not a super lot of detail. I think that's even more of a reason to throw some darkness back there and possibly put a little depth of field on this one as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you've already got it, but the thing to think about, because the way this shot is framed, and we want to kind of repeat this, is just keeping symmetry. Like you've got a light source here, another light source here. Like keeping this idea of a nice balanced symmetric image is really good too.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Anybody else have any thoughts before we wrap up for today? Our 350th daily lighting critique. All of them are available on YouTube. Yeah, but this is good stuff. All right, cool, guys. All right, Monday is a holiday here in the States, so no critique Monday. I will see you all back on Tuesday. Congratulations again, Nathania, on the win, and I look forward to seeing what you guys. So yes, and then next month, we have. I think I loaded this. Yeah, I loaded this yesterday, in yesterday's critique. So I should have it right here. Yes. So next month's critique is in progress. We are working on. This is the animation. It's so to be the September and October lighting critique. It won't be due until Halloween. And so what we're doing is we're working with the Griffin Academy again to give you guys the files for this animated shot, and have you all light this, because I just think that this isn't a robot fight sequence type of animation. It's not big, but like the animation is so well done on this. This is such a really good, really good stuff. So we'll have this for you all very soon. Hoping next week they're going to come back, and because right now we've got some issues with the Olympic file that's being exported. The gums and teeth are staying in place, and they want to clean up the material files for you all a little bit more before we pass them along. So that's where we are right now.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah, shoot.
Is there a chance that they will fix the RoboFight with the places where the hair disconnects from the girl, or like that kind of stuff?
We had some updated ones. I can look through it. So that was a problem with the first time that we went through this, was that there was a lot of updates that got missed and things. So I I could look through it probably next week and make sure that I get all the latest and greatest and everything kind of pieced together, because I think that fur cache did get fixed at one point, and then the file got deleted from Dropbox somehow. So I'll work on getting everything pieced together.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because I want to do that like in 3 different ways. And
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, for sure. All right, cool guys. All right, thank you all very much, and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
All right, happy lighting, everybody.